Hello friends, welcome to Health, Music and Fitness channel. ECG vlog number 2. This ECG is for beginners and I want you to look at this ECG for 2 to 3 minutes, and you can pause the video right here and calculate the heart rate, rhythm and axis, and then we'll discuss. Okay, now we shall discuss the heart rate, how to calculate the heart rate. Now you look in any of the leads and we can select lead 1. There is a good R in lead 1, and calculate the number of big squares between two RR intervals. And the formula is 300 divided by number of big squares between two RR intervals, or 1500 divided by number of small squares between two RR intervals. And if you calculate, there are roughly around 4 big squares, so that is 4 5 is 20, and if you calculate the heart rate, 300 divided by 4, that is 75. So the heart rate is 75. Now the question arises when there is atrial fibrillation in which the RR interval varies. In that case, you can calculate the number of R waves in 5 big squares. Why 5? Because 1 big square is 0.2 seconds and 1 second is 5 big squares, and you multiply that number of R waves into 60, and that will be the heart rate in atrial fibrillation. You can also by heart a few of the heart rates, like if there are 6 big squares between two RR intervals, heart rate is 50. If 5, heart rate is 60. If 4, heart rate is 75. If 3 big squares, heart rate is 100. 2, heart rate is 150, and 1 square between two RR, heart rate is 300. Now we have to see if it is a normal sinus rhythm or if the P waves are arising from the atrium or something else. As we had discussed in the previous videos, P wave, if it is arising because of the impulse arising from the SA node, it is a very good P wave, normal and symmetrical and of adequate height. And to look at the P wave, to study the P wave, always look in lead 2 and lead V1. In lead 2, all the impulses are very tall. The P wave is tall, good volume P wave you will get, a good volume R wave you will get, and a good amplitude T wave you will get. So lead 2 is very good lead to study any of the waves, that is P wave or QRS complex or the T wave. We look in V1 because P wave is biphasic in V1, that is the right atrial component is positive and the left atrial component is negative. So if you look at the isoelectric line in lead V1, the P wave above the isoelectric line, that is on the positive side, that will be the right atrial activity, and the part of the P wave below the isoelectric line, that is the left atrial activity. So it's a very good lead to study the P wave because you can very easily make out whether there is right atrial enlargement or left atrial enlargement or biatrial enlargement, and so that's why we look in lead V1 also whenever we want to study the P wave. Now out here we have to see whether it is a normal sinus rhythm. So always look at a few P waves followed, and they should be followed by a QRS complex and a T wave. And all the P waves, they should be of normal shape and size and regular. The heart rate should be regular, and then you can say it is a normal sinus rhythm. So normal sinus rhythm will have a P wave followed by a QRS T complex, and it's usually regular. Now we will find out the axis of the heart. To determine the axis, you look in lead 1, look at QRS complex. If there is a R wave and a S wave, and you see which one is taller or deeper. In lead 1 you can see there is only R wave and there is no S wave. Had there been an S wave, so you would minus R from S or S from R, whichever is taller or deeper. So you minus one from the other and then see the predominant, like let us say R was 10 millivolts and S was 5 millivolts, then lead 1 would have been plus 5 millivolts positive. And similarly you look in AVF. Now in this lead, in this ECG, in AVF is negative and lead 1 is positive, so it is a left axis deviation. Then next you should try to find out the exact degree of the axis, exact degree. For that you have to look in lead 1, 2, 3, AVR, AVL, AVF and find the most isoelectric complex. Isoelectric, it means where R roughly equals to S. A little bit of difference may be there. In this ECG, lead 2 is the most isoelectric complex, and the lead that is perpendicular to this lead, isoelectric lead, will be the axis. Now in lead 2 is at plus 60 degree, and we know already that the axis is left axis deviation, and what is perpendicular to lead 2? Minus 30 degree. That is where lead AVL is. So that is perpendicular to lead 2. So the axis is minus 30 degree. Also make it a practice to always look in lead AVR. In AVR all the complexes should be inverted. P should be inverted, QRS should be inverted and T should be inverted. Like in this complex, AVR is inverted, so it is a normal AVR. Now in this ECG, as you know, there is a left axis deviation. This is slightly out of the topic. One of the causes of left axis deviation is left anterior hemiblock, and the features of left anterior hemiblock are left axis deviation, S wave in lead 2 and lead 3, and a normal duration QRS complex. This patient has had a recent anterior wall MI, and you can see there is loss of progression of R waves from V1, V2, V3, V4, and in V5 there is slight coving and T is inverted. V6 also there is mild coving and T is inverted, and Q waves have formed in V1, V2, V3, V4, and coving is still there and T is inverted. Then you should also look at the various other intervals. The PR interval, which is normal in this, it is less than 5 small square and more than 3 small squares, and the QT interval, which is also normal with the heart rate of 60 to 100, QT should be less than 2 big squares, 0.400 milliseconds. This concludes the interpretation of this ECG. Thank you. If you like our videos, please subscribe, share, comment, and press the notification icon so that you get notified whenever we upload new videos. Please tell your friends also to subscribe and follow our channel. Thank you.